Okay, so something came to me and I want to explain something. Okay, so earlier when I was talking about death in certain levels, right? So, and the control you have over your experience. So, let's say you're heavily conditioned to believe what is going to happen when you die, then that is what you will create. Whether that is punishment or, um, you know, reunion or, um, what would it be called? Like, like you're exalted, like you're, superior now or something. You're going to go through whatever experience to a certain level. And I'll explain that in a sec. But let's say, you die, and so you are conditioned to believe that's what's going to happen when you die. So that's what will happen because you will create that. And so, the way that would be limiting, because a lot of people would be like, well, who cares then? I'll create my own heaven and I'll just create heaven and I will just go there and I'll stay there for eternity. But the problem is see, by your limitations, then you really create your own prison, because other people, other souls would go on and expand and go out further, so you'd have your own little heaven, but it would be a lonely place. But I guess, you could create your own friends, but once they got to have conscious awareness, they would ultimately leave you, because you can't hold, you can't be in control of energy like that. You can't, sorry, I got a new one of these things because the other one broke, and this one's hard to get used to, and the legs are way longer. So I'll probably be kicking it all the time, especially because I can't see shit. Oh, and what's also scary about my vision thing is getting so much worse across here, but how much more it's getting limited. Stella can be laying in front of me and I won't see her. So, I'm really looking forward to these med pads. I'll tell you. So anyways, so let's say, you die and you go to that limitation, you create your heaven, and Steph and other souls keep going and incarnating, and they're moving up and going into more of, that's all I can think of to say is just more, it is like, it's like going out of your house or going out into the universe. You know what I mean? It's like the difference in, as a soul, like graduates, the difference in like your idea of dimensions of where resonance is and stuff is so expansive the further you move up. So yeah, you can limit yourself, you can create your own little heaven, you can create whatever you want, but you can't, you can't force souls to be there. You can't manipulate it. That's not an energy that is in that kind of arena. That's why you incarnate, so that you can come down and play in this other kind of energy, because of the things that you learn from. So you really test yourself, like, where people are always thinking they're being tested, you're testing yourself. It's your soul, it's your higher aspect of self that is incarnating through an avatar to go out and understand itself. So, but with emotions and all that stuff, especially if you've cut that inner guidance off inside your soul, then you feel like you're the avatar. You're just down here, you're just like, what? And in this experience, you are being manipulated and programmed, and it's a whole thing that I talk about all the time, so I won't go too much into it. But anyway, so then that's the whole drive for a soul to keep coming back and incarnating and stuff, is the growth, because that frees you so much more of becoming who and what you are. So at any point, yeah, you could limit yourself, and you could limit yourself for eons. You could say, hey, I need a break. I just need to be, create my own little safe space and be there for however long it takes until I'm ready to rejoin this crazy world. And that is one thing too, is that I was going to say, because that is exactly what the situation was with my dad when I went and spoke to that medium. And, you know, people can believe what they want about people's ability to talk to directly to certain energies. You know, I don't go into my stuff and start naming them or whatever. I just know that I'm being sent information from outside of me, and I know what information is a positive vibration, what information I'm supposed to share and stuff. You know, what information they want out, like they show me and tell me, but I don't go in and name them and stuff. So, but people do have the ability to pull somebody up directly. And like, I believe I can pull my relatives in. I've felt them many times or smelt them, or, you know, you feel their energy. But it's when I start trying to be like, have conversations is where I'll start thinking, okay, am I just saying this, or are they really saying this? That's where I'm like, you know, I can listen when these people are talking to me. You know, I can hear them. And I can have conversations with them. But it is more of like, you start being able to recognize the voices in your head. When it comes to talking to relatives, I get a little bit more, I think more emotionally, you know, involved, so I can't tell as much. So each person has their own way of communicating, and this is something that's going to develop more as people wake up to this new existence of consciousness. So it is going to be a lot more exploration about that kind of communication and stuff. But anyways, so back to my dad, you know, and I spoke to the medium, and, you know, she knew things that she would have never known. So, you know, I don't need to be convinced. Other people need to be convinced. You could give them all the information in the world, and they will just look for the holes or whatever. They just don't want to see that there could be something different than what they are accustomed to believing, or what they, you know, whatever they've plugged into in their reality. So, anyways, he was in a place, I grew up of thinking of this place being called Purgatory. It's like an in-between, and it is like a rest place. So yeah, he could be in there, but it's not a punishment place. But you don't get to come out of there if you're carrying like toxic energy, or if you have got an attachment to an incarnation that you can't let go of, or whatever. And he was holding on to a lot of stuff. I mean, he caused a lot of pain when he was here. He did a lot of damage, you know, and that is a hard thing when you go through your death experience, the transition of your soul going out and having to go in and look and see. It's like, go back over, like, oh, I did that. Oh, I said that. Oh, God. But some people have way worse than that. Some people have a lot of really dirty stuff that they've done because they're so caught up from their, you know, this outer existence. They are very focused on this, the experience from, it's very ego driven. And they don't look outside of themselves. Everything is about them and how things affect them and stuff like that. That's a state of consciousness. It's a state of consciousness that people are becoming aware of so much right now because people are waking up to that. You know, but it's like a stage of consciousness in their growth stage, you know, and they're very manipulated in this place. But, you know, ego, you know, is part of self-identity. So, and ego has its place, but ego can get itself like, ego is just not you, you know. Ego is, you know, like on a conscious level, the ego would be, I guess it would kind of be like a shadow self, because you would always have, you know, an ego that would be associated with you. It wouldn't be like I would go and get incarnated and get a new ego of this new body or something, you know. You would have that ego. So it's like a dark side that your soul is kind of grapples with. And you can see, like, in these kind of incarnations, how much you can really expose to yourself about yourself and your true nature, because it's, as a soul's growth is all about that, wanting to, that soul growth, that self-realization, that understanding itself on such a deep level, but not judging itself. The judgment comes from here, from the rules and what we believe and all that stuff. But when you're dead, you don't have those same kind of concepts. So they don't have the magnitude, the impact as they do here. So that is why a lot of growth happens when people have left the experience and they're looking back, and they have to, go back in and really recognize parts of themselves. But anyways, this, this little purgatory area is like a, kind of a rest kind of, if you think of it in a dimensional, it's kind of just like an empty space. Kind of like when I heard a lot of people talking about fourth dimension, is kind of like how I kind of figured it. It's kind of like a place in between places. It's not, you're not in three-dimensional, you're not here dealing with this stuff with your ears, eyes, nose, and all that, but you're not ascended, so the and when you die, wherever you go to in this giant, universe of like, if you just think of it as kind of like a giant human body, like I think of it a lot like that, like a giant human body. And, we are the thoughts, we are the synapse of all the thoughts that is going on in this giant body, and the experiences and the realizations and stuff, that's, that is what we really are. And but so many people, because of these fantastic abilities, how like you can go into a dream and be in a different place, that the consciousness can be so present that it's real. But yeah, so many people, they get so caught up in the experience, and they don't get the same kind of growth as they really were hoping for. So when they get to the other side, and you look and you see, it has a lot more impact. But then you can only go up to where you vibrate, to where you're understanding, because you can't go in and dirty other waters. And the higher you go, the more clean and pure that energy becomes. And it's all, a soul is always, working on that, and it is kind of like that tornado. The things with the pyramids and the tornadoes and stuff like that, always going into that is like this real movement of everything, of just everything. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes this stuff is like, you can see it so clearly, but when you just start trying to explain it, it's like, it's really hard, and it does sound, kooky. So either, but I know that there's people who understand what I'm saying. I don't have to go into that much depth, that they, they've got like their third eye open, they can pick up on messages without it having too much explanation. And then there's other people who would just come in and think like, okay, this is crazy talk. I've already seen the comments, and, but that's the thing, you can only understand to the point you can understand, and you can see how that is so significant, because those people, they're so reactive, and that is a part of it, like reactive and bully and lash out at somebody because they don't understand. Then everybody else must be stupid because I don't understand. So that's why I talk about, you can't get caught up also if you are feeling very isolated in your family or whatever, because people are not understanding you, because you're talking crazy talk now, and they can't deal with it anymore. Don't feel bad. Just know your soul is opening up. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful experience. But it's a lot of learning about yourself, and it is it's a great place when you get there, and it's a lot of work as you go. But don't get caught up in what other people think of you, because they haven't seen it yet. They just don't understand yet. But everybody's getting an opportunity, and if you are being more open to that stuff right now, it's probably because your soul is really trying to get you on the path for the ascension. And the ascension will move your soul will be expanded, but it's all this learning and growth that you do during this incarnation that's going on, during this cosmic kind of is like, it's kind of like if everything is a human body, like I said, it is like an expansion, a growth in that for everything. So you kind of get the wave of this growth, this expansion, to help you as a soul be able to expand yourself. So it is, you can look up about it and other things. Like the Book of One has a good thing, and they call it the harvest. And, that's some really interesting stuff. There's lots of books about Ascension. There's lots of people speaking about it, and I'm sure there's all sorts of details that are a little different for everybody. But you just go out and you just listen to a lot of different people, and you form your own opinion. You don't have to have someone else's opinion. Give yourself the benefit of having your own opinion. So, and don't get caught up in what others think of you. It's, everybody's at their own stage of growth, and, this is, an expansion for everybody. It's a learning experience for everybody. So, just really focus on your own. And I just wanted to make that clear, though, about, even in death, like it's a beautiful place, when you transition into, real world where we really all, live. It's a beautiful place but it's all of a creation, So, but you get more and more, the more you grow. There's a great benefit. And guaranteed, when you come out of the experience, if you wasted a lot of time here, you're not going to be, you would be judging yourself. It's your own higher self that's going to be in there, shaming you. So if you cut off your inner guidance, through, alcohol, sex, whatever, there's so many things in this worldly world so you don't focus on yourself, and you don't focus on, what's out there. I mean, when I hear people say like, oh, I try and make time to meditate about once a week, I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably do like once an hour, but I don't work. But still, I mean, it's just a part of my every day to spend time in the place that is outside of myself, not being caught up in all of the world stuff. I don't know. But anyways, those are things to just work on, no matter where you start at. I mean, I've been doing this a while, so, and I've been having to focus on my growth. I would have never survived if I didn't. So, and, there's a lot of people are going to be feeling that here, over the next few months. A lot of people feeling that. And so, and all we can do is just keep being there for each other. This is a time that's going to be a lot of healing, but it's really great in so many different ways. So, anyways, I just wanted to clarify that stuff about what, when you die, this whole concept of heaven, like, oh, you just, finish here, you just say the right words, and then you get to go to the garden and sing at the feet of Jesus for eternity. But it's really pretty there. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot different than that. So, anyways, I will talk to you later. Bye.